That favorite outfit hanging in your closet might be sabotaging your confidence every single day. But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. The fashion rules that worked beautifully in your 40s can actually make you look older and less vibrant today. What I'm about to share with you isn't about following trends or spending a fortune on new clothes. It's about understanding how our bodies change over time and how 6 simple clothing swaps can make you look 10 years younger, feel more comfortable, and radiate confidence every time you walk out the door. Hello, and welcome to a conversation that's going to transform the way you think about getting dressed each morning. I'm here to share something that took me years to understand as a fashion consultant specializing in helping people over 60 look and feel their absolute best. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 6 clothing items are working against you, why they're not your friends anymore, and most importantly, what to wear instead to look polished, confident, and effortlessly elegant. These aren't strict rules, but gentle guidelines that respect both your comfort and your natural dignity at this wonderful stage of life. The best part, you probably already own most of the alternatives I'm going to suggest. This is about making smarter choices with what you have, not emptying your wallet. Let's start with something I see far too often: clothes that are simply too tight. Now, I want to be very clear about this. This isn't about hiding your body or being ashamed of how you look. This is about understanding that our bodies naturally change as we age, and fighting against those changes with overly tight clothing often backfires. Here's what happens when we wear clothes that are too snug. First, they create what I call stress lines, those horizontal creases that appear across the chest, around the waist, or along the back when fabric is stretched too tightly. These lines draw attention to areas where the clothing is struggling, rather than flattering our natural shape. Second, tight clothes can actually make us appear larger than we are. When fabric pulls and strains, it creates visual bulk and unflattering shadows. Think about when you see someone wearing a shirt that's clearly too small. Your eye immediately goes to where the fabric is pulling. Third, and perhaps most importantly, overly tight clothes are simply uncomfortable. As we age, comfort becomes more important, not less. Why spend your day feeling restricted in your movements or constantly adjusting your clothing? So what should you wear instead? The magic word is ease. Look for clothes that follow your body's natural lines without clinging. This means choosing pieces that skim rather than squeeze. For shirts and tops, they should touch your body at the shoulders and chest, but have enough room that you can pinch about an inch of fabric at the side. Seams for pants, you want them to lie flat across your hips and thighs without pulling. There should be no horizontal stress lines across the front or back. A good test is to sit down. If the fabric strains when you sit, they're too tight. The key is fit, not size. Don't get attached to the number on the label. Sizes vary wildly between brands and have changed significantly over the decades. Focus on how the clothes look and feel on your body today. Item number 2. Clothes that are too big and shapeless. Now, let's swing to the opposite extreme. Clothes that are too big and shapeless. I understand the temptation here. Maybe you've gained a little weight and think bigger clothes will hide it. Perhaps you prioritize comfort above all else. Or maybe you're just not sure what size you wear now, and you'd rather err on the side of too big than too small. But here's the truth. Oversized, shapeless clothing doesn't hide anything. It just makes you disappear. When clothes are too big, they overwhelm your frame and make you look smaller and more frail than you actually are. They can also add visual weight in all the wrong places. Baggy clothes also tend to make us look sloppy, even when we're wearing expensive pieces. A beautiful sweater that's 3 sizes too big will look like you borrowed it from someone else's closet. The solution isn't tight clothes. Remember what we just discussed? The solution is clothes that are properly proportioned for your current body. This means finding pieces that acknowledge your natural silhouette without clinging to it. Here's a simple trick. When trying on clothes, ask yourself if you can see your body's basic shape underneath. You should be able to tell where your shoulders are, get a sense of your torso, and see the general line of your body. If the clothes completely obscure your silhouette, they're too big. For tops, look for pieces that have subtle shaping or follow your shoulder line naturally. For bottoms, choose styles that sit properly at your natural waist and follow the line of your body without being restrictive. The goal is clothes that look intentional, not accidental. Item number 3, clothes with juvenile or trendy graphics and slogans. This one might surprise you, but clothing with very youthful graphics, cartoon characters, or trendy slogans can sometimes work against you after 60. I'm talking about t-shirts with characters from shows aimed at teenagers, clothing covered in glitter or sequins meant for much younger people, or pieces with slang or references that feel forced. The issue isn't that you can't have fun with your clothing. You absolutely can and should. The problem is when these choices make it look like you're trying too hard to appear younger, which can actually have the opposite effect. There's also the question of appropriateness, depending on your lifestyle and the activities you're involved in. Very juvenile clothing might not match the respect and authority you've earned over the years, but please don't think I'm suggesting you can only wear boring, serious clothes. There are so many ways to show personality and have fun with your wardrobe while still looking sophisticated. Instead, look for clothes that show your personality in more subtle ways. A beautiful color that makes your eyes sparkle, an interesting texture, a classic pattern with a modern twist. Or well-made pieces and fabrics that feel luxurious. Consider accessories as a way to add personality. A colorful scarf, an interesting watch, a beautiful piece of jewelry. Or a stylish hat can show your individual style while keeping your base clothing classic and appropriate. If you love graphics or patterns, choose ones that are more sophisticated. A shirt with a subtle botanical print, a sweater with an interesting geometric pattern, or a jacket with tasteful embroidery can be both fun and age-appropriate. The key is choosing pieces that feel authentically you, not like you're wearing a costume meant for someone else's age group. Item number 4, clothes with busy, overwhelming patterns. Let's talk about patterns. As we age, very busy, loud, or overwhelming patterns can become less flattering for several reasons. Large, chaotic prints can visually add bulk and make us appear larger than we are. They can also compete with our natural features, making our faces seem less prominent. Complex patterns can also be aging in another way. They can look dated more quickly than simpler designs. What seemed fresh and modern 5 years ago might now look tired or old-fashioned. Very busy patterns can also be overwhelming to the eye. As we age, we want to draw attention to our best features: our smile, our eyes, our confident posture. Competing patterns can distract from these natural assets. But this doesn't mean you need to stick to solid colors forever. Patterns can be beautiful and add interest to your wardrobe. The key is choosing the right ones. Look for patterns that are proportionate to your size. If you're smaller in stature, smaller prints will generally be more flattering. If you're taller or have a larger frame, you can handle slightly bigger patterns. Choose patterns with good contrast that don't blur together when you step back. A navy and white stripe will always read clearly, while a busy floral with similar tones might look muddy from a distance. Classic patterns like subtle plaids, simple stripes, small polka dots, or elegant florals with plenty of background space are timeless and sophisticated. They add interest without overwhelming. Consider using patterns strategically. A patterned scarf or shirt can add visual interest while keeping the rest of your outfit simple. Or try a patterned bottom with a solid top to create a balanced, polished look. Item number 5. Extremely revealing or overly conservative clothing. This is about finding the right balance between two extremes. On one hand, clothing that reveals too much skin, very low necklines, extremely short garments, or see-through fabrics can be inappropriate for many of the settings where you spend your time, whether that's volunteering, meeting friends, or spending time with family. On the other hand, clothing that's overly conservative, completely shapeless, covering every inch of skin, or looking more like a uniform than personal clothing, can make you appear older and less confident than you actually are. The goal is to find clothing that's appropriate for your lifestyle, while still making you feel attractive and confident. For necklines, look for options that are flattering without being revealing. V-necks are universally flattering because they elongate the neck and face. The V doesn't need to be deep. Even a subtle V-neck creates a beautiful line. For those who prefer higher necklines, try styles that are slightly open rather than completely closed. A crew neck with subtle detailing, or a mock turtleneck rather than a full turtleneck, can be more flattering and modern. When it comes to showing skin, consider your arms, legs, and neckline as separate decisions. You might choose to wear a sleeveless top with longer pants or a higher neckline with shorter sleeves. The key is balance and appropriateness for your activities. Choose fabrics that drape well and feel good against your skin. As we age, our skin can become more sensitive, so comfortable, breathable fabrics become increasingly important. The goal is to choose clothing that makes you feel confident and comfortable in any setting, while still expressing your personal style. Item number 6. Shoes that prioritize style over comfort and safety. Finally, let's talk about shoes. This might be the hardest item on our list to address because many of us have an emotional attachment to our favorite shoes. But here's the reality. As we age, our feet change, our balance may become less steady, and comfort becomes increasingly important for our overall health and well-being. Very high heels, anything over 2 inches, can become problematic for several reasons. They can affect your balance and increase the risk of falls. They can cause or worsen foot problems like bunions, hammer toes, or plantar fasciitis. They can also change your posture in ways that put stress on your back and knees. On the other end of the spectrum, completely flat shoes with no support, like flip-flops or very thin-soled shoes, can also be problematic. They can cause foot fatigue and may not provide enough support for feet that need more cushioning and stability than they used to. Shoes that don't fit properly are also a concern. Feet can change size and width as we age, and continuing to wear the wrong size can cause discomfort, balance issues, and foot problems. But giving up style for comfort is a false choice. There are so many beautiful, comfortable options available today. Look for shoes with a slight heel. About 1 to 2 inches is perfect. This small lift can be flattering while still being stable and comfortable. Block heels are particularly good because they provide more surface area for stability than thin heels. Wedges can be excellent choices because they provide height while distributing weight more evenly across the foot. They're also generally more stable than traditional heels. For flats, look for styles with good arch support and cushioning. Many brands now make shoes that look stylish, but provide the support your feet need. Pay attention to the shape of the toe area. Your toes should have room to move naturally. Shoes that squeeze your feet into unnatural shapes can cause problems over time. Consider having your feet measured regularly. Our feet can change, and wearing the wrong size affects not just comfort, but also balance and posture. Good supportive socks can also make a huge difference in comfort, especially if you're on your feet for long periods. Remember, when your feet hurt, it affects everything else. You'll stand differently, walk differently, and feel less confident. Comfortable, supportive shoes are an investment in your overall well-being and quality of life. As we wrap up our time together today, I want you to remember that these suggestions aren't rules written in stone. They're guidelines designed to help you look and feel your absolute best at this wonderful stage of life. Let's quickly recap those 6 items to reconsider. Clothes that are too tight and create stress lines. Clothes that are too big and shapeless. Clothing with juvenile graphics or trendy slogans that might not match your maturity. Busy, overwhelming patterns that compete with your natural presence. Clothing that's either too revealing or overly conservative for your lifestyle. And shoes that prioritize appearance over comfort and safety. The alternatives we discussed: well-fitted clothes with ease, pieces that acknowledge your shape without clinging, sophisticated ways to show personality, elegant patterns that enhance rather than overwhelm, clothing that strikes the right balance for your activities, and shoes that provide both style and support. These choices will help you create a wardrobe that makes you feel confident, comfortable, and authentically you. Remember, the goal isn't to follow fashion trends blindly or to dress like someone else. The goal is to understand what works best for your body, your lifestyle, and your personal style preferences right now. At this moment in your life, you have earned the right to dress for comfort and confidence. You've earned the right to make choices that serve you, not fashion magazines or societal expectations. You've earned the right to look in the mirror each morning and feel proud of the elegant, confident person looking back at you. Fashion should be fun, not stressful. It should make you feel better about yourself, not worse. Use these guidelines as a starting point, but always trust your own instincts about what makes you feel good about yourself. Clinical studies show that when people feel confident in their appearance, it positively affects their mood, their interactions with others, and their overall quality of life. The clothes you choose each morning set the tone for your entire day. If you found this video helpful, I'd be so grateful if you'd give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more style tips, designed specifically for the over 60 crowd. Your support means the world to me and helps me create more content to help you look and feel your best. Until next time, remember, true style isn't about age. It's about understanding yourself and dressing in a way that honors the wonderful person you are today.